Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. I'm Mandy Dwight at Dwight Co. We're a boutique sales and marketing agency specifically for automation and robotics companies. I'm also the host of this podcast that you're watching, ROS Goss. I'd like to welcome our guest today from OSARO. Banner right behind in case you forget. So I'm sitting here today with some really awesome people. Adi Dalvi, who is the VP of Sales over here at OSARO. Gemma Ross, who's VP of Operations over at OSARO. And Matt Churchill, who is the Principal Sales Engineer over here at OSARO. So thank you guys so much for coming, or actually not coming.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, wow. Honestly, I'm not going to miss a chance to come and see you guys. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
So, OSARO, you have been around for, I don't know, a decade now, I think, at this point, which is a really long time for a startup, and you've grown so much. And this is really exciting because I've never actually been to your headquarters before. So this is a really fun experience to come and walk around. I've seen some amazing robots. Thanks to Gemma for an amazing tour earlier in which I saw a lot of the applications that you're solving for clients.
What was your favorite one?
Oh, I liked the last one I saw. I don't know how much to say, but I saw a cell in which the robot was picking an item and then packing it very exact in an outbound location.
Okay, yeah, like a kitting application.
A kitting, yeah. I mean, when I think about that, it's really important because as a consumer, a heavy consumer, if things aren't packed in the box appropriately, it's not a good customer experience.
Right.
So, well, I wanted to sit with you guys today because you've had successes in, sales, marketing, landing customers, keeping them here. So what is the OSARO story? Like, if you had to tell OSARO's story in your own words, and I know you've been here for varying amounts of years, so the story may be different, but Gemma, have you been here the longest?
Yeah. So I joined in 2019, and the story is always like, it depends on who I'm talking to, right? But frankly, I think we're just like a bunch of people who really like to watch robots pick stuff up and put it back down again. But I think the most important part of the story is the people that we have at the company. It's everyone who we work with who actually makes this a success. And so while the technology is a huge part of what enables what we do, it's still the people who built it. And that's why we're still here, and that's why we have had the commercial successes that we've had.
I think another piece of that story is you've seen a lot of startups in this industry.
A lot of startups
that take investment dollars, and then all of a sudden, as soon as that happens, there is a big rush to get that product out of the market.
Yeah.
Before the product is hardened.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot.
And OSARO took the time to get their product to a point where they were comfortable deploying it in production environments. And I think that has led to a lot of the success that we've had over the last few years.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And Matt, you're very much on the customer side, like you're with the deployments. I mean, what would you say the OSARO story is?
I think we listen to our customers and develop technology that they need, right? I think that's a big part of it. That's kind of some of the foundational ideas of, bringing reinforcement learning to the marketplace, understanding what that looks like and how we can deploy it in an effective way that's useful to people, right? And that's kind of, again, some of the founding principles of the company that's been really successful.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think that's true. I mean, some of the startups that I know that, maybe are not here anymore, they didn't listen to their customers. And I can think of some of the very early startups that I've been at, in my career, right? And it's like trying to build a thing, like if you build it, they'll come. And that's not like really a thing.
No, it's not. That doesn't work. We've been fortunate enough to have the people here to identify the problem in the warehouse and try to solve for that problem. It doesn't really work the other way around.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, as far as, it's one thing to land an account, right? Yeah. So, wow, that That's a loud car.
San Francisco.
Yeah, we are in San Francisco. So, it's difficult to land a customer, right? Like very, very difficult, especially when you're at a startup. You're not a 50-year-old company that has a track record of being in business. What are some of the keys to your success? Like, how do you land that customer?
Can I start as the non-salesperson here?
Oh, I love, probably the best answer. Yeah.
In my observation, it's going to be different. I'm sure. What I've seen be successful is relationships.
Yeah.
And so I think that with our sales team, they take that time to really invest in the relationships with the customers. I think that ends up being critical. So yes, of course, we're selling something, but they need that trust from us first. And I think that that's something our sales team has done a really great job cultivating.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can.
I think that's good.
I think that's a great answer. I think also you've got to do a really good job in the early stages of identifying who your targets are going to be.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we've talked about this a few times. OSARO is not necessarily focusing on the whales, the huge accounts. And I think you get a lot of startups that are focused on those really big accounts. Those take 12, 18, 24 months to close at some point. We don't have that kind of time.
Right.
So if our strategy is to focus on smaller to medium-sized businesses, companies that still have some opportunity to scale, and keep the whales warm and work those in the background, then you're going to have a lot more success because you're able to close deals a lot faster, and you're also gaining the experience that's required to now deploy at those whales once you finally close those. So our approach has been a little bit different, and it's really nice to be a part of a company that is taking that approach, because all the other startups that I've been a part of is you go after the top 5-10 companies in the space, and it takes years and years to finally get some of those opportunities to close.
Yeah, that's important.
I think it's really important, though, to point out that the most important aspect of a successful sales team is the operation that's behind them, right?
Yeah.
If we can't successfully deploy, that gets out there, right? So we have to be able to bring our customers in, show them the technology with the team that's going to be there holding their hand, making that deployment successful. We have to be able to tell stories about how we've done that with other people. So operations is a huge part of us being successful on the front end of the business.
The sales process here at OSARO, and probably a lot of other companies in the warehouse automation space, I think, we haven't figured everything else. We haven't figured everything out, right? We haven't figured everything out, but I think we take the approach that solutions, sales, and operations work very closely together to close these deals.
So that's like a teamwork scenario.
It is, unless you have all three teams working together, it becomes a lot more difficult to not only gain the trust of the customer that you had referred to, but also when you're deploying. Yeah. Right. You need buy-in from everybody.
Yeah, you do. Or else the project's going to fall apart, won't deliver on time.
Exactly.
So, what is that like? So, you guys are all talking about teamwork. What does that look like? So, I've sent you a PO. I'm getting 10 robots. Yay, right? You're excited. What happens now?
Well, I think it's important to say that we didn't start the process when we got the PO, right? I mean, we've had involvement with engineering and operations, so that by the time we get to that point, it's just we're going through the motions of handing this thing that everybody knows about off to the back end of the organization. I think that without that, you can't be successful, right? So we have to have that those really early touch points with our technology stakeholders and our execution stakeholders as we're starting to evaluate some of these opportunities. And when they don't fit, we say no, right? But by the time we get to a purchase order, that all that groundwork has been laid, everybody knows, there's no surprises, and then we can kind of seamlessly transition it into the back end of the business. So I think that that's most critical, is what happens prior to the purchase order.
Yeah, good point.
That just makes everything else afterward much easier.
Yeah, and then I say to Gemma, "Oh, by the way, I need my robots in 3 weeks," and she's like, "Yeah, no." So it becomes like a delivery
Fun.
thing, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but because we've kind of involved all teams up front, there's never a 3-week scenario that we know we can't deliver on.
Yeah.
So it's always tight. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
There's always
it's
something
never-
where
yeah.
we go, oh sure, take all the time you need.
Yeah.
But we aren't surprised by it. Our engineering teams who need to do the development aren't surprised by it at that point. So we've, Matt, Adi, I do the work with all of our, internal teams to make sure there aren't those surprises. By the time it's like, we've made a sale, people are like, to whom?
Yeah.
Right.
Plus
Like
your supply chain, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Making sure that you have robots in house for deployments and things like that.
Well, and we're not, I think one of the cool things that we're doing is I haven't seen a lot of these other companies in the picking space interface with AMRs. So it's not only
I don't see that a lot.
right? It's not like we're only trying to procure articulating arm robots from Fanuc, right?
Yeah.
We are procuring pallet moving AMRs, and that adds another element of complexity. But we're actually we're doing that stuff in the field, which is super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a worry-free experience for the customer because all of a sudden the entire solution is coming, like as a solution, not as a single thing that works by itself.
Yeah.
Right.
There's this old phrase, single throat to choke, right? And,
Yes.
And it's so critical. It's never going away in this space. The investments are too big. And it's very difficult to manage one of these projects when you have that many vendors involved, right? So without taking the full solution approach, I don't think you're successful commercially in this space.
No, I agree. And like with that said, how do you maintain, with a startup, you don't want to sell one robot, or with any company, you don't want to sell one robot into a client space, right? Because there's no ROI there, right? You need to have multiple robots with one person kind of, just watching the floor, making sure that things are good, right? How do you guys think about land and expand? Because that's so critical.
So more recently, and probably in the last year or so, we have really tried to build in expansion terms into our initial contracts with customers.
Yeah.
So, there's still, companies are still going to look at technology as another piece of risk, and they do want to do some testing before they fully dive right in. And we have been very successful in negotiating contracts that say, okay, if we hit the metrics, hit A, B, and C metrics over a period of 3-6 months or whatever, then we implement the next 8 robots, right? So we're already kind of baking that into the contract. And a lot of our customers, we do educate them early on that you're not going to see the benefit, an ROI benefit,
Until there's multiples.
out of just
absolutely.
one, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to have to automate maybe a full line to see the benefit. So that's the intent, not only to help us expand within our customers' networks, but also to really help our customers realize that ROI.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you guys have another kind of secret sauce here. And it's kind of, it's a RAS sale to a client. But, if a client says to you, well, I don't need that. Why do they need that? Why is that so important?
So, couple of things. And thank you for teeing that up.
I honestly, I think when I look at solutions out there, it's like, you guys can't see I'm using this iPad here on the side. It's like buying this thing without Apple Care.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, so not only is it an operational expense for our customers, that helps them realize the ROI faster, because the way our pricing models are very competitive. But I'm going to turn it over to Gemma and talk about hypercare. Like you just called it AppleCare. We've got hypercare.
Yeah.
And it is, it's our support structure through the life of the contract.
I love that.
So, Gemma, if you want to.
Yeah. It is a program we've called Hypercare, and really the whole intent of it is that we meet the customer where they are. So if they don't have a fully fledged maintenance team, well, we make sure that whomever is going to interact primarily with the robot still knows how to do the basics. That means giving them the documentation they need, the tools they need, so that if there are small hiccups, because there's always going to be something small that happens, they're able to handle that in production. And then if something large happens, we're there. So within that first 30 to 90 days that we deploy, we're actually physically still there, because we know that there are going to be edge cases, things that we, even as close as we stay with the customer during development, there's going to be something that happens where we go, oh, we did not consider what needs to happen in this situation. And so we're there to do that really rapid turnaround then on saying, okay, we've implemented a change now, we tested it, we're here to make sure it works, rather than remotely being like, oh, okay, we'll get to that when we get to that. Yeah. Because then you'd start to diminish that trust you took all that time to build up front. And so, during that first 30 to 90 days, which is very intensive care, but we don't leave at that point. So we have all of our remote support 24/7 whenever they need us. Again, we've trained their team to take care of kind of the small maintenance tasks. If they can't resolve an issue themselves and we can't do it remotely, we're on site within 24 hours of knowing that need. And I think that when you make that large investment, even as a RAS model, that's a huge investment for a lot of companies. Sure. The company, have baked that into your ROI. If this machine goes down, if the system isn't working, they're blocked at that point. And it's usually internal reputations on the line. And we want our customers to be successful. We want our internal advocates to get that win out of it as well. For sure. So, hypercare is really, I can list all of the things that we do, but it's just about going to the customer where they need us. Yeah. So it ends up being pretty customized.
And it's very much a relationship thing too, right? And like, if I'm wearing my salesperson's hat, which generally I am most times, like I'm always in that account. And when they need something else, who are they going to call? Me, because I'm talking to them all the time. Like we're in there, and I just love that. Yeah, and honestly, that's the operations is sort of the backbone behind a lot of our expansions.
Yeah, they're our best salespeople.
Yeah. Good job, Gemma.
You betcha. Team.
Yeah, that's so great. And, Gemma gave me the tour, showed me all these cool things, right? So, talking about some of the times that you've had to really pull together as a team, without oversharing, right? So we're live, this is airing to everybody. Like, what's a time that you guys really came together to solve like a very tough challenge?
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, every time I'm in this office, there's a continuous state of this team pulling together and solving a really hard problem, right? I mean, we talk about, we're bringing in customer demos on a regular basis, and we will call Gemma and say, hey, we're going to be there on Tuesday. Can we do a demo? And the answer has always been yes. Yeah. That's a hard thing. So it's great that we have the technology, but it's really the people, right, who come in and execute to make that happen. And it's a super powerful thing when you can have a conversation with a customer and 7 days later you're on site with them and they're seeing a demo with their products. Super powerful thing. And this team is just doing that on a pretty continual basis. We have 10 robots back there that's all they're here for. That's what they do. But yeah, I mean, it's just a continuous stream of that. This is a pretty scrappy team.
I mean, I think the engineers always want to strangle me when we come to them with this, but then they also really understand the why behind it. They say, you want what, and by when, for who, doing what? At which point they go, okay, I think we can. And I think it's because we've also taken the time to explain why it's important. Yeah. And that's why, you've heard the saying, everyone's on the sales team. Sure, you say that, everyone's like, whatever. At OSARO, everyone lives it. So we regularly pull engineers into customer meetings when we're kind of getting to that closing point. They're always helping us with the demos, operations helping with the demos. I think it's something that we just couldn't do it if we didn't all work together. There is no version of a siloed, successful OSARO.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And, with that said, what are some of your favorite deployments that you've done? And probably everybody here will have a different answer, but
It's like asking me to choose a favorite kid as a person who doesn't have a kid. So this is even harder.
Favorite cat. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Usually, honestly, it's whatever the next one is.
Yeah.
I have always loved very much the past one. And I'm like, now I'm so excited about what's the next one that we're about to build. And it's usually because there's some new challenge that's associated with it. That's something that's really exciting. Like, oh, this is new for us. Even if it's a lot of the same building blocks, there's always something a little new that we're bringing into it, which keeps the job really exciting. I think it's exciting on the development side, on the sales side, and on the delivery side when there's always something a little bit new. So for me, the I don't know, my favorite deployment is the one I'm doing next.
That's such a good answer. Can you guys top it?
I don't think so.
No.
Can't top it. But I will say, we did have a customer tell us we just won a project, and we're all super excited about it. And the customer and I spoke, and I said, "So, why'd you make that decision?" And
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it's just curious because there was competition.
Yeah.
Some were much bigger companies than us.
Yeah.
And their answer was, you listened to us.
Ooh.
And you actually allowed us to collaborate with you on the solution side. Right?
So partner, you're a true partner.
Right. So, and that's probably one of the deployments that Gemma's referring to that we're all really excited about because, the base of the application was always there at OSARO, but there were certain nuances with this customer that they needed an AMR here or like a tweak here that, Matt and the engineering team just built into the solution, and that put us over the edge. So.
Something too that you guys don't know about this team. So, this is a fairly new podcast, and we were sitting around in Chicago, I believe at ProMat, and I said, "Hey guys, I think I'm going to do a podcast." And we sat around and we joked and we had such a fun time, thinking about it because it was a joke. Like, why would we ever do this thing? And now it's here. So Katie, our director of the podcast, you'll see her in a minute. But we put something together for you that's reminiscent of that time when we were sitting around, kind of talking. Yeah, I know.
Oh no!
And,
Oh my God.
So
that's fantastic.
So everyone,
That's so great.
if you remember, this is the Sippopotamus from Three Dots in a Dash.
That is hilarious.
They serve theirs with dry ice. The Dwight Co. ROS Goss version is the electrolyte powder. So I think is it Paloma electrolyte powder.
That
so
is
you guys
so
need to
funny.
hydrate.
We do.
So this is the Sippopotamus that we put together for you. But that was actually really cool for me because we get to sit around, talk about a cool idea, laugh about it, and now we're here. Thank you so much for all of your support with the podcast. Like, honestly, we joked about it. We had a fun time.
Yes.
But, Matt Churchill laughing about the name of the podcast and collecting ROS Goss as he went around.
It was great.
Like, we had a fun time.
It was great.
So cheers to you guys. This is the Sippopotamus.
Woo-hoo.
So
Oh boy!
Get her in.
lean in here.
Good thing it's not COVID anymore.
Well, all friends.
Well, that's good. That's the Paloma electrolytes.
That is good.
And
I feel
we
hydrated.
work with robots, so OSHA could come at any minute, so that is non-alcoholic. So anyway, thank you,
Safety
everyone.
first.
Mandy Dwight, host of ROS Goss, dwightco.com. If you found anything interesting here, go to our website, dwightco.com, rosgoss.com. And thank you so much, OSARO team. This
Of
was really
course.
fun to sit with you today.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks for setting this up.
thanks for enjoying the Sippopotamus. I look forward to the theme song.
Yes, I'll be thinking about it tonight.
Yeah.